Hello, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to Project Learn, a Reskill and Spark initiative aiming at upskilling the tech enthusiasts on emerging AR technology with the help of workshops and hackathon, and building a highly engaged Spark AR community. Through these workshops, you would be taught how to build your AR effects on Spark AR Studio and with features that enhance the experience of Facebook and Instagram users. I'm Anamika, and before we start the workshop, I would like to run through a small presentation to share the purpose, flow, application, and benefits of being a part of this program. So, as I mentioned, Project Learn aims at helping you kickstart your career in the domain of augmented reality by training you in the technology. Slide. The program structure is divided into three broad stages. In the first stage, we would walk you through the Spark AR Studio and teach you how to create your first AR effect from scratch, which involves importing assets, canvas, face tracking, patch editor, and generating test link. In the second phase, we will move a step further, teaching you about the advanced features like filters, which will with the Spark Air, and along with that, we'll also talk about the Spark Air policies before we finally submit your effect. Submission of your effect will get you a meta certification and access to resources that will help you prepare for the hackathon. In the final phase, we will host hackathons in your college level and pan India level. You would be rewarded and recognized for your efforts and contribution. Next slide. So before I move further, let me quickly introduce Spark AR Studio to you all. Spark AR Studio is a tool used by global community of creators and brands to create and share AR experience using a Facebook family of apps. An augmented reality, I'm pretty sure you're aware, is an interactive experience which digitally enhances what can be seen, heard, and touched in the real world. At the moment, we have over 600 million people using AR on Meta apps. Next slide. Let's have a quick look of what is happening in the world of AR. So there are four key capabilities where AR is being used currently. To give you a brief insight on how AR is being used worldwide, we have all come across these face filters on Instagram where we can add mask on our face. This is done by using face tracking capability. IKEA, the popular Swedish chain of home furnishing stores, uses AR to help their customer choose the right furniture for their home through the world tracking capability. Similarly, while QR codes are normal to scan, we are now able to scan pamphlets and business cards using target tracking. Similarly, body and hand tracking, the latest capability introduced, offers utility for fashion and e-commerce brands, allowing users to try an outfit digitally before they click on purchase. Next slide. So here are a few effects which I'm pretty sure you have tried and used while using Instagram. For example, this one that you see, the hair color changes when you scream or the phone call from a celebrity. Next slide. AR also plays a very impressive role in escalating your gamifying experience by mapping effects with facial expression, gestures, and movement. Next slide. AR has played a very, very crucial role in the pandemic, bringing the world to a drawing room by emphasizing on the moment, making content much more interactive, enjoyable, and memorable. So we've all attended Zoom meetings and the Google Meet meetings, which were initially very bland, and all of a sudden we could add backgrounds and filters to make it, give it a feel of being at home. Next slide. So, okay, now I have created my effect. Now, what happens to the effect that I have created? So, the effect that you create is published on Instagram user page in the stories section in the reel section. And the most interesting part is that your effect is available to the audience worldwide to use and experience. Next. Now, okay, all said and done. What is the program going to help me with? Is it going to help me professionally or not? So there are various ways in which you can use AR effects to your advantage. You can monetize the platform by building AR effects for brands and creators. You can become an AR UX researcher, AR developer, educator, You can leverage AR in your career by identifying and solving problems, and you can take a step further into learning VR and XR. With so many advantages, both immediate and long term, I'm pretty sure you're going to make the most of these workshops. We had shared with you the download link for Spark Air Studio in the email. I hope you have downloaded it. In case you haven't, request you to download it now. So today, the session would be taken by Pal. Pal is a senior AR generalist and experiential, etc. The company was featured in the Shark Tank India. He's an alumni of Facebook School of Innovation Spark AR Open Program, a hackathon enthusiast, creator. He has created various effects for brands with SPN affiliated companies. So today, Pal is going to be mentoring you into creating your first AR effect. Welcome, Pal.
Hello everyone.
Thank you for
Yeah,
joining us, Pal, on a Saturday morning. So today's
and
this is
likewise.
the, yes, this is the AR effect. Pal is going to teach you how to create today.
Thank you for the kind introduction. I hope everyone is curious to learn their first AR effect for the Meta platforms. So let's
Over
get
to you.
started. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So first, before starting to that, I hope everyone has downloaded the Spark AR version 138, which we'll be using for today's workshop. And they have linked their Facebook and Instagram accounts, which will be required for you to log in into Spark AR Studio to create those effects for today's workshop. I'm just sharing my screen, and I hope to make this session interactive so that even I can also get to know that students are understanding it. And before starting to it, I just wanted to say something regarding this, how the journey started, and how I got into here. Even I was also student 2 years back in 2020. Then this Spark AR open program was there. And from there, even as a student, I got a scholarship and mentorship from mentors to learn and create how those effects. And that was my where I found my passion and curiosity to learn all those things. And then got into industry, worked with clients, internship, job exposure. So if anybody is curious about it, then they can also pursue as a career, and it's a booming field. So let's dive into Spark AR Studio. Let me know if my screen is visible. This introduction screen will be looking something like this. So there's Spark AR Studio. The version will be written here. You can see the create new option, learn option, recent project option. So create new will be where we will be creating our new project. It contains of a blank project, sharing experience for creating effects for Instagram and Facebook app. For video calling experience, you can use this template. So which will enable you with for exactly which platform you are creating an effect. So we have various templates. You can see depth color overlay, audio visualizer, and just like this, to get started with your effect, to know the basics, how the things work, set up them pre-made templates so that you can understand the concepts. So there's also a learn section where you can learn small things by how to get started, what are the few things like finding your way around the interface, scripting, and other assets. And the recent projects will appear here. Whatever the projects you will create and save, it will show like here. And what are the projects, if you are sharing with your friends or which you have already saved, you want to open it, we will find it here. And here we have two options. That's what's new. What's new will tell you about what's the new with this current version. So whenever the new versions get rolled out, they come out with new features or new capabilities, which will be mentioned here. And creator community is the Facebook group of the Spark AR community. And I insist everyone to join that group so that you can get to know what exactly other creators are making, your inspiration, and even if you want to post your queries, you can do that. So let's get started with our first effect. You can click on sharing experience. By this, you can see here, this is how the UI of the Spark AR Studio is. This is your simulator window. This will be your scene panel. And I explain everything about the UI step by step. So you can see here setting, that's project properties. So project is enabled for sharing experience. It will be looking something like this, so that we are creating an effect for Instagram and Facebook. So this is our scene panel with a hierarchy of device, camera, focal distance, whatever things we are going to have in our project will be present here. Asset panel, where will we be adding our assets. Like if we are having some audio, we are having some images, we'll be having that we need to add it in the asset panel. And this is our inspector panel where the properties are present. If you want to change, modify something, it will be, we will do by an inspector panel. So this is our viewport. This is how the things present in our effect will be visible in the screen in viewport. And this is a simulator, how it's going to be looking on your device or your interface. You can dock and undock it. The simulator window, you can change the device which your required format. You can also switch to the front and back camera, how we have on our devices, selfie camera and primary camera. And you can make it horizontal and rotate as per your requirement, how you want to interact with the effect and how you want your users to interact with the effect. To just to get more clarity, we have all this changes. So first, I hope you have downloaded the asset file which I have shared from the Google Drive. That is a star PNG. We'll be adding it for the our effect Pride Rails. You can click on the plus symbol here, or you can click from import from computer. You can navigate to the path wherever the file is stored, and you can click on that file and click open. Our file will get imported. Whenever you click on the file, you get the more information about it. What are the dimensions, the compression modes, how this is the image which you are looking for. So regarding the UI, other things, this is our workspace. This is our video simulator panel where you have some predefined videos, the mascots of the Spark AR Studio, which will be very helpful in testing out the effects on different users. You can add your own videos also, and you can try it with your real webcam camera like this. But just to test out the effect, you can select any of the predefined simulator videos. So this is to pause the effect. If you want to test something, if you want to make changes, you can pause your effect and make the changes and click here so that it will start back. So this is stop if you want to reset your effect. And this is for the restart one. And you can see this is a very helpful place which is known as asset library. When you click on the asset library, if you want to use some models, sounds, patches, anything, this is very helpful. It's like your best friend for the Spark AR Studio. You can see 3D objects here, because for our effect, we'll be using an object 3D model from Spark AR library, where you can see collection of animals, foods, and you will get two things from here. If you want to import 3D models, you will get some Spark AR pre-made assets and Sketchfab. So make sure you have a Sketchfab account, or otherwise create it to import those assets directly into your effect. You will get music and sound, where some pre-added effects are there which you can import. Those are royalty free. Some patch assets, like if you want to have some complex kind of logic or something new which is already been available from Spark AR community, you can use that. Textures will be very helpful for like environment texture, noise, which will be looking in the further part of the workshop. So these are blocks. Blocks are some pre-made set of files which you can directly import in your effect and place it on the scene panel, so that you don't need to add those things, bunch of things. It's like a group of all the things which are required for an effect. Scripting packages. These are some package which you can import as per your requirement, if you require those limitations, or if you require those capabilities into your effect. And these are Luts. Basically, you have seen on an iPhone, you can see your various options like vivid and different options. So these are basically Luts, which is known as lookup tables. Converting to a normal image to a black and white or something like vintage. So this is how it's done by Luts, and these are 33 assets which is already available on Spark AI Studio. So this is how our UI is, and more going towards the project, I will share regarding what is the test on device and publish. So let's get started. We have added our asset, the 2D image we have added, that is known as star. Now we will also need one more 3D model. I hope the pace is fine. You can click on 3D objects, go on 3D shapes. You can select a capsule known as primitive, which will be required for creating the ray type effect. Now click on import free. While clicking on import free, you can see the asset has been added in our asset panel. So basically, we will be creating a ray type effect, which will require the base capability, that is face tracking, to track our face. So you can click on plus, you can go on face tracker. Face tracker is a capability which tracks the user's face. By default, every naming convention starts with face tracker 0. If you create one more, then it will start with other naming convention. Just a second, like this. If you create one more, it will start with 1, like just the basic nomenclature in Spark AI Studio. But right now you only require one, so we'll be using this face tracker. We'll be creating a null object. Null object is basically, you might have heard this term in your what we can say object oriented programming or OOP concepts, where you apply some kind of transformations to the object, and whatever the child are of the null objects, the same property gets applied to it. That's inheritance. So we'll be making I raise. You can rename it by double clicking or clicking on Y, or by right clicking and selecting rename option. So we have made a null object for the I raise, and we'll be adding one more null object for left eye. It's better to keep the nomenclature simple and which is understandable to the user. Left eye, and one more. You can either use duplicate and then rename it. Right eye. Now you can click on the workspace. You can go for the patch editor. So this is where we make what are the changes we want to use with those capabilities. We play around it here. So a patch editor will look something like this. It will having two properties, show map, search patch. If you have added certain kind of patches, you can click on search patch and you'll be able to find it, and show map what are the patches added on the thing, on the whole patch editor, you'll be able to find that. So first we'll be adding our patch, face tracker patch. You can select face tracker. I hope till here everyone understood how to set up your environment, how to add face tracker, how to create a null object and add for both the left eye and right eye. So now we'll be adding our assets. So here we are. You can select the face tracker. You can go to inspector panel. You can select interactions. While we will be creating what kind of patch we want. We just want a producer patch. Producer patch include face finder, face select, and a face tracker. Face finder will count how many number of faces are there. Currently, if you can see, there is only single person, so it is giving me 0 value. So it starts with 0. Every what we can say numbering starts with 0. Like if there are 2 users in effect, it will give me 2. Zero for the first one. If I am having another face tracker, and if I also create a producer patch for it, I'm just telling how the things work. If you are having more than one person in your window, so this is a count. Here is a count 2. Same. There are 2 person. What the count is telling, there are 2 users in your screen. So to get the eye center of left eye and right eye, will be using eyelid patch, which you can able to add it by clicking on the face, drag and dropping it. Then you will see and add what we can say, add UI, where you can add the patches or search for it. You can search for eyelid, click enter, then the patch will get added like this. From here you will get a left eye center and right eye center. So there are various options for as per the requirement user can use it. So there are left eye center, left inside center. So inside is basically near this part. Left outside corner is this part. Left lower eyelid center, the based, all the things are pretty simple. You can understand it here, but we'll be using two things. One is left eye center and right eye center. So our left eye will provide the position of the left eye to our left eye null object, so that whatever the things we are going to add in under left eye, it gets the same position. As it's in 3D space, so it is having three coordinates, x, y and z, for all the rotation or position movements in all three axes. You can see we are getting certain values, providing it to left eye. Maybe I will be switching camera to single user. Yeah. So this is the mascot of the SparkAR Studio. Now another one is right eye center. You can find it here. Here, yeah. You can click right eye. You can go to inspector panel. You can click position. And you can select this. So basically, our both null object has been assigned to the value where the face tracker is tracking the left eye center and right eye center, because we want our rays to emit from the eye center, right? So that's how it looks, the rays emerging from an eye. So now we will add our 3D asset, that is capsule. You can select it and you can click here. You can select it, drag it and click it to left eye. You can see a capsule has been added. It's not the way we want it. We'll modify it, but you can see in viewport our asset has been added, and in simulator window also you can see the you are able to see your asset is visible. So first of all, we'll rotate it in y-axis so that it looks straight like this. So now to create a ray type effect, we'll need to increase the scale in x-axis, just like elongated one, so that it looks like an ray. So you can try various combination as per your need. Currently, we will be keeping the scale to 30, so which will look just like it is raw, but it will look like a ray. This is the midpoint. So what are the scale values we add? So it gets scaled like an x-axis in front, 15 in front and 15 in back. So now you can see the ray is not emerging from the center of the eye, it's in middle. So we'll need to change the position, and we can also hit and try various position values, but here we'll be placing 0.74. I have tested the various combinations and this is the most precise value I have got. So now you can see the ray, the starting point of the capsule is just near the eye center. So we'll making the same changes for the right eye. We'll adding our capsule. I hope my pace is proper and everybody is understanding it. So we'll rotate it by 90 degree. We'll elongate on x-axis and then 0.74 for y, for z. So this is how our ray will be looking. It's currently a different material, that's why. But just to make it more intriguing or like cherry on the top, we'll be adding a star. So where it will look like a ray is emerging inside the eye. So we'll be adding a plane here. You can select the left eye. You can right click. You can click on a plane. So you can see a plane has been added. It's looking like a checker, what we can say checkerboard, because no material has been applied. In capsule, the material has already been applied. That's why it's looking like this. But in plane, we will need to apply it. Currently, the size of this is the default size. The scale will be 111, but that's not we want for our project. So we'll be updating it. We'll be making it 0.5 in all three axes.
Well, there is a question from Karan.
Okay, okay. Yeah. Just a second. I'll be back to the portal. My capsule isn't dragged. Even I have dragged it into the null object. Okay, okay, sure. So make sure you have added the null object inside the face tracker. So if you can see, if I will close this hierarchy, so what are the child are there, it is inside the face tracker. Is it the case? You might have added outside the face tracker, so that's why it won't be tracking. Otherwise, it will look like similar to this. For the rest, is it working? You might have accidentally added the null object outside the face tracker like this, similar to this. Make sure you add the null object inside the face tracker, or by dragging and dropping it like this, so that it gets tracked with face tracker. So was that helpful? Clicking for, till naming our plane as a star. And one last thing left here is making the scale of 0 zx 0.5. So now you can see the plane has been added. It's the center. It's just right before our rays are emerging. We'll be making the same. You can either basically for just start, make sure you don't use shortcuts like duplicate and all. You add the same thing because that's how you will get to learn. But even if you think there's a possibility of making an error, so you can right click and you can duplicate the object, and then you can select that object and move inside the right eye. So the same will, with same all dimensions, what are the properties you have applied will get added to the other one, and you can rename it as a star. So all the assets or all the planes we were about to add in our scene, we have added. Now we'll be applying the material to it. You can see a plus button here. Click on that. You can see a material option. Select it. And by default, the material gets added as material 0. So whenever the effect, whatever the effect you are making, name the material as the plane or as the object. So that you can understand what is this material for. So I'll be naming it as a star mat. So that we get clarity, this material has to be applied to our star plane. And these are various shader types, which contains a diffuse texture, specular, normal, emission, tiling modes. If these are bouncing over your head, no need to worry, I'll explain everything. So basically the shader type standard means if effect which will work like a normal effect. It's like if some light object is there, the part of the light will only reflect on a particular part because it's on standard type. So it depends upon the light, but we'll be using the flat, which is irrespective of the light. The light factor won't affect it. Otherwise, until unless you don't add lights in your effect and your material is standard, it won't glow or it won't look bright. Using standard, by default, the color is white. You can see the texture. While you can click here and drag down option, you can see an our asset star. You can click here. You can see the tiling modes. It's only if you want a repetitive type of order. Then you can see the render options. Blend mode is alpha. These are various blend modes which you will be able to know. Like alpha is there, associative alpha is there. So what is alpha? If you can see this image, it's an PNG. It's a transparent image. Only certain part is having a texture, or you can say the color. Otherwise, it's totally transparent. So if we want to apply the same thing in our plane, so that's why the blend mode is kept to alpha in our material. Then you can see add. What add will do, the texture will get applied, but it will be added toward the texture behind it. It's like on top of it, overlay. Multiply is also of same sort. It will get multiplied with the back layers or back textures. Replace will replace what are the textures are behind it. And screen is similar to multiply. So let's add our star. Now let's assign our material. You can see a material is visible, star matte. So now you can see a star kind of thing is visible just at the cornea. It's like it's the rays, the first from star, the rays are emerging. Apply the same material to the here. Yeah. So our base or raw effect is ready. Now we'll have more immersiveness in the effect, because no one likes it raw, right? You want to add some immersiveness in the effect so that it looks more appealing. So that's where you can use the capabilities of hidden capabilities of AR. Now we'll be creating some set of colors for the pride colors. So everyone knows what the pride color include. Pride color include Vibgyor colors. This is a pride rays, the effect which for the inspiration for this project. We'll add an option picker. So this patch provides us various options, and here we'll change the data type to color. But before moving to the other part, let's make sure everyone has everyone has created the effect till here. If there are any queries, I would like to take it now, so that we can, if it's all good to go, we can proceed to the other part, the intermediate part of the workshop. Are there any queries? Okay, so let's continue. I hope everyone has understood it till right here. So like I said, you need to import by clicking, what we can say, by adding, double clicking on the patch editor, you will get the option, or you can click here, add patch. It will also make the same. You need to write option picker. So here we'll get various sets of options. You need to right click on it. Make sure you have changed the data type to color, because we'll be using different sets of color. You have made this to 6. So where we'll be adding all our pride colors. Now we'll be adding our colors in bottom to top approach, like Vibgyor's, Vibgyor. I guess for pride rays, blue is not added. It's only 6 combination instead of 7. So let's add violet. Otherwise, you can take help from internet as well, just to make it clear so that the color gets right by you. You can write Vibgyor, or you can go to your browser. You can search for Vibgyor hex code. So where we can get all the hex codes, and you can apply the same hex code to those patches. So we will be also doing the same. We will be taking the violet hex code, copying it, and going back to our project, bottom part, click on it. You will have a different UI for colors based upon your what we can say system. Is it Windows based or it is Mac OS? You can go to you, but you will get an option of hex color. Click on that, paste the color, and apply it. So you can see our first color has been added. So similar way, we'll be adding our different colors. Indigo is not present in Pride, but if you want to add, let's add it. You can do the same process here. Second color has been added. We'll need to make it 7 to create all. So now we'll be adding our third color. Are you able to find the hex color codes? Is this process helpful? Because I wanted to show you directly how to get the hex code, and you can apply the same color so that you don't get confused with the options which we will be looking here in the screen from this menu, color palette. That's why. Hex code are the best way to apply the colors. We'll be going for the blue. We'll be copying the hex code, copying it, and adding it right here. Similarly, it might be a little tedious, but it's helpful to get clarity on the correct colors so that the effect turns out in the same way. Yellow. If you want, I can share this what we can say color hex code link in the stream chat if you're facing any difficulty to find it. Is it required? Now the last but not the least, last red one. So here we are good to go. Now our pride ray, what we can say, you can name your patches, pride colors, so that you can get to know what exactly this option picker is about. These are the various colors which will be applying to our rays and stars. So click on the capsule mat. Change the color type, what you can, shader type to flat. The rays will get flat, and you can see the texture or the material has been dropped from capsule to material, because whatever changes you make, it gets added as a new material, but it will be applied same to the capsule. You can see just a right arrow. You can see an arrow which is basically an input for adding the colors. You can either choose from here, but if you want to apply some logic, you can just click on here and it will get added. Now if I select this, the color will automatically get applied to the rays or to the capsule, and like this will be changing different colors, and this is how it will be looking. So let's apply the same material property to the star as well. You can go select star matte, go to shader type, then click select the diffuse texture, create the input for it, and apply. And one thing which will need to change here is to make it multiply. Blend type was to are we making something different? Just a second. So you can test out various combinations, and from where we can get to know what exactly the thing which we are trying to apply. And in that process, you might able to figure out very new various things as well. Yeah, for star matte, like we discussed, we want to apply the this star asset in combination with bright colors. So you can drag and drop your asset. So that's why it was looking directly in a square, because it was not getting multiplied, or what we can say overlaid on our star with colors. Either you can directly click on multiply patch, just like this. And from here, you can make one output from this, so that whatever the RGBA values are there, RGB is basically RGB and A is the alpha. Alpha tells which part is transparent and which part is not. So this both data gets multiplied, and we can have our star matte diffuse texture here. So now you can see it will be colorful like as we want. Change the blend mode, because if we keep alpha, it will be also similar, but to make it like it's starting from inside, we will make it add or multiply as you want. Multiply won't make it, will make the dull, but let's keep it to add. You can zoom from here. Now you can see it's looking like a laser. And we'll need to apply the same property to our capsule matte, which is, yeah. Now you can see a ray type of thing by changing the blend mode to add. When it was alpha, the inner part wasn't visible. You can try it on yourself as well, just like this. You can see it looks like a ray. So we are also one step ahead of our project. So the main reason of keeping the scale 30 was to look like a ray which is elongated, because you don't want, if you are at a particular distance, the ray stops there. Now you can see the ray is beaming out of the screen or your window. So which looks really exactly like a proper ray. So that was the reason to keep the scale of the capsules to 30. You can test out a various other scaling values, and then change the position in the same scenario. Now we'll be adding interactiveness. Now we had add the immersiveness to our project. Now we'll be adding an interactiveness to our project, because you don't want that you open Spark AI Studio and change the color to this. You want something where you can change from your device as well, or user can do. So there are two options which we'll be exploring. One is normal screen tap. You can search for the patch, screen tap. Again, to add a patch, either you can click on add patch, or you can double click on the patch editor. You will get this option. You can search for screen tap, whatever, and make sure you click on this widget. You can click on simulate touch, so which will enable you, whenever you touch, a pulse will get generated. I will show you an example which will be visible how the pulse is getting generated here. If I click here, you can see a blue pulse was passed whenever I tap on the screen. So this is how, when the user taps on the screen, a pulse is passed. So we'll be adding a counter here. That's how you used to create counters in our programs. Similar way, we'll be creating a counter which will be enabled from our screen tap. So this is an option you get enabled or not. If the screen tap is enabled, it will inherit all those. It will take into consideration all those screen tap values like this. So currently we tap thrice. That's why the counter starts with 0. And what are the maximum count we want? As we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 for all the your colors. So we're making the maximum count to 7. So now you can see it has been reset to 0. If I click, it goes to the next one. When I click it again, it goes to the yellow. Similar way, in same what we can say ordered fashion, it goes to green, it goes to blue, it goes to indigo, and it goes to violet. And now what happens when you are on the last section? You click once again and you get back to the first one, just like it's in a loop. If it goes to the maximum digit, so it starts with 0. Every counter starts with 0, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like this. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then again back to 0. So this is one touch based interaction where user will need to touch on the screen and they can and the color will get changed. I hope till here you are able to understand it more properly. This was helpful and you are able to create your first effect like this. And one other part is also there. I will add one other approach. If you want a touchless based interaction, just like how you can see other filters where you can open your mouth or you can raise your eyebrows, it triggers to an activity. We can also make similar here. If you don't want the user to touch the screen, we can have some other touchless interactions, which will be using and help from face effect. Let's see what you want to keep. I want this session to be interactive. You can write in chat. Either you want an eyebrow raised or you want it mouth open for the trigger to change the color. Can I see some views here? Any comments so that I can get to know you are able to understand it properly till here? Eye raise, okay. Mouth open, okay. So we have got 50-50% both. One more, waiting for one more comment so that we can get the probability counter increased. Like I said, I want the session to be interactive so that I can also get to know you are learning from this. Anyone else? All right. We'll get back to our project. We'll make it both. Okay. I will show you how you can make both. Let's keep it that way. So we have a certain patch which will be input from the face, and you can click on mouth open. So it will detect whenever the mouth opens, it will generate a pulse similar to our what we can say screen tap. So it generate a pulse, but mouth open will generate a Boolean value, and Boolean values are basically true or false, where we'll need to create a pulse patch for this. To convert our Boolean values to pulse, we'll be using like this and then passing it here. So if you can see, if I change my webcam to live and whenever I open my mouth, it gets changed. So this is how one set of example like mouth open patch is used. And another one, like we were talking about eyebrow raised. You can search for the patch eyebrow. There are already pre-made sets of interactions which you can try to figure, which you can try to explore and search. So this is eyebrow raise patch. It will also work in the same manner. You can click from, you can create an input from face. You can pass it to the pulse. And whenever I'll be raising my eyebrow, it will change. So this is how you can create as per your requirement. Try to explore various options as well, because there are different options. But just I wanted to showcase you how to create touch based and touchless based. And one more important thing, we are just not finished here. We have created our whole project, but you know and I know how the interactions work. But there should be some kind of interaction present on instructions present on the screen, so that user also can get to know how to change those colors. So we'll be adding in instructions. It's very easy to add. I'll be showcasing you how. Let's change back to the simulator window. Now you can click on camera, and on top of it you can see a device. And in device you can see an inspector panel which tells about our device. You can see instruction. Now you can see an option of custom instruction, and you can see on opening. So basically what we want on opening is tap to change. If you can select this option. So if you are keeping the screen tap option, we'll be having a tap to change instruction. You can click on it and automatically a set of patches will get created. Just a second. Like this. So where, what does this indicate is a runtime patch with less than patch and device enabled. So basically it's a lot. The logic here is runtime provides you the runtime values. Yeah. So runtime indicates, if you can see, you can go to the patch info, that track the time that passed since the effect started running. So one more important thing which I wanted to showcase, if you want to know what exactly the patch does, you can select the patch, whatever you write. If you write runtime, you will get the information about the patch, what exactly the patch do. So you, if you import it, then you can, just like how we did, you can right click on it, you can select the patch info. Similarly, for everything you get to know what are the inputs are about, what the output will is gonna say, give. So as we reset it, you can see the tap to changes there, and which will gonna be till the condition is satisfied, like less than 5. Our runtime second is less than 5. It is gonna showcase the instruction tap to change. I'm resetting it once again. So in simulator window, you will be seeing on the bottom part of your screen, but on your, when you test out on your devices, you will be see in the center of your screen. And if you want for starting 7 seconds, you can keep, which will make it enable. And if you want it to enable for throughout the effect, which is not a proper suggestive way, but if still, you can keep it enabled. So in this enabled patch and token patch, there are some set of custom instructions which you can add from either here, or you can see all the instructions here. So these are all the instructions for the these are all the instructions for target tracking, body tracking, hand tracking, face tracking, others, and plane tracking. For face tracking, you will be able to find out open a mouth to start. Like if you want to add this patch, this want to add the instruction on mouth open, you can select this. You can click insert, and the new patch will get created. I don't want to complicate it for you, but I'm just showing that token has changed. You can see now. Earlier it was just tap to change, and even you can get those properties. You can get, if you want to see what are the number of instructions are added in your project, custom instructions. You can click it here so that you can, if you want to add manually, instead of choosing from this option, you can go to project. You can go to edit properties. You can go to capabilities. So experience is the first thing which started in we started in this we talked in start. It's like you can select for which platform you want to create. Is it just experience sharing experience for Instagram, Facebook? If you just want to click for create for Instagram, you can uncheck the Facebook option. So it will be only your file will be only created for Instagram. If you want to even add more experience or like video calling as well, you can click on ads and you can click on video calls. To create an effect for which works on ads, you can select the ad option or you can select the video calling experience. So this is how you can add various what we can say platform experiences. As this we want this effect for Instagram and Facebook, so we'll be making the both option checked. You can go to capability, and in a scenario where you want the user's face should be detected with high accuracy, so there's also a way you can click the face tracking here. You can open the drop down. You can see the maximum face it needs to be tracked for our effect. Currently we are making it just 1 and accuracy standard, but if you want to increase the accuracy to high so that it detects the face properly, it doesn't jitter, so this is how it you can increase the accuracy, and you can click on done. And again, if you want to, like we were supposed to add the instructions, you can go to the capabilities, you can go to instructions, you can click on a drop down, you can go on custom instructions, because we want the instructions in our custom way. So you can see we have added 2 instructions. One is tap to change for our screen tap, one is open mouth to start for our mouth open, and one was other for the eyebrow raise. You can click eye, you can see an instruction, raise your eyebrow. So these are the particular tokens. If you are going to write in the same way, then only the instructions are going to display. If you have made any syntax error or any typing error, it won't show the same. So that's why what you can do is you can click on, you can double click on token. It will automatically select it. Now copy it by Control C or Command C and paste it in your token. And then like this, reset it. So you can see the razor eyebrows is visible. So this is how we can add instructions to our project, and it also plays a very vital role, because only a developer, creator, or person who knows how the effect's going to work knows. But what for the layman person or for the person who is starting with the first time, he also should get to know what the things which he needs to do to make the effect more interactive or immersive. How to play with the effect basically. Now you can see instruction has been added. So the final step where we'll be testing our effect, what you have created. So currently our instruction is raise your eyebrows. If you want to do it on screen tap, then change the instruction to screen tap 1. So first we'll be testing with screen tap. Okay. Let's take a simpler one, then we can go to another. Token, tap to change, and then yeah, done. So I hope till here everything is clear and everybody understood how to create a first Instagram effect. So get ready to check this on your own Instagram app or Facebook app. So this is where the part comes of test on device. But before testing it, let's save our project, because it's very important to save your effect. If due to some crash or something, if you have not saved your effect and the Spark Studio goes to the problem, you might lose your file. Even though it shows that it gets saved as a crash project, but not to take the chance, let's save our project. File, save. You can select the path you want to, just like I've created a path for all my SparkR projects, templates, and you can see a pride raise, and I will make it, name it new. Pride raise demo or base. You can name it as per your naming convention so that it's easy to remember. So we have successfully saved our file. It's all safe now. Now the final thing is to test our effect. So when you click on test on device, you get an option, test on device. sharing experience, you can, if you have linked your Instagram account, then you can click on Instagram. You will find an option to send for Instagram and Facebook. So there's also one option, if in type of not if you don't have proper internet support, you can directly try it in offline way by connecting your device with your system and turning on the USB debugging mode with USB option. Currently my device is not connected, that's why it's not showing me the send. You will find this application on your Play Store or App Store known as mobile spark app player. If you install that app, so you will able to try the effect in offline way, just directly by connecting your phone with your system and enable the USB debugging and settings of your phone menu. So let's test it on our Instagram. I've clicked here. So the effect is getting uploaded to Spark AR Hub. So now everything is done from your end. You just need to sit back, relax. You will see the link is getting generated. I hope everyone has understood till here. If there's any query, doubt they want to ask regarding the same, they can shoot in the comment section. So here you can see it shows we have sent a notification to Instagram. If you will open your Instagram app, take your device, open the Instagram app, and you can see here you will get a notification in the notification section that a preview AR export, try preview.export by your username. So basically the Spark AR Studio has sent a notification to your Instagram account where you can test out your effect, or you can copy this link. Just if you, in case you want to share your effect with your peers, your friends or family, you can copy this link and share with them. They will be able to try this effect the same way you are able to try in the preview section. Click on the effect. You will see, I don't know if it's visible, you can see an option here, test this effect. If you open that preview notification, because our effect is not published yet, that's why it's taking a permission to continue, that a user allows this Instagram app to continue with this effect. Click on a continue. And you will be able to test on the effect on an Instagram app. And you can see the instruction. You will getting an instruction, tap to change. Click on your screen, the color will get change of the rays. So here we have successfully created our first Instagram AR filter, Meta Platform AR filter. I hope you liked it and the pace was proper. I was able to narrate or instruct the whole workshop properly. You can send the same field to Facebook app as well. So this is how you create your first effect with different immersiveness and interactiveness. So we have completed our first workshop for the day one. Handing back to the team.
Yeah. Hey, hi. I hope the session was valuable and you have understood what Pal was trying to tell you. Tomorrow, we are going to talk about the advanced features, and also we are going to talk about how to, what are the Spark Yard policies. So, in the meantime, I would request all of you to practice your effect that Pal has taught you. And in case there are any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat box now. We are there. You
Yeah,
can take up.
please feel free to write your query so that I'll be able to understand how much you have understood the today's session.
Well,
And don't,
I have to give you a compliment. It was a very poet session. It was like fantastic. I enjoyed it a lot.
thank you so much. And make sure you get connected with the Reskill group, Facebook group, so that where you will be able to share the experience or what are the effect you create. I'll be happy to see those effects. And you connect the Spark Air community as well. It's a global, worldwide community where you can seek validation, inspiration from your fellow creators.
Yeah.
So, are there any FAQs or doubts? I'll be happy to answer those. So this was just very basic because I wanted to know first that you understand what the Spark AR is about, how's the platform, how you get started with the platform, what are things inside it. It shouldn't bounce with a, if I want to show you some complex and in the first day we are able to create it. First we'll take baby steps and we'll get to explore the platform.
And request all of you to join the Facebook group, which is an official Facebook group for the AR creators. You would find a lot of information over there also. All right. So thank you so much for today. Thank you, Pal. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks,
Sure,
Atan.
sure.
Good day to all of you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for calmly listening me, and a great round of applause for Reskill Team as well, because of their support and your support, this session was able to go with seamlessly.
Thank you
And
so much.
kudos to all the students who created their first effect very calmly, because we know how we used to be a student and how we used to disturb to teachers or mentors.
Right. Thanks, Atan.
Yeah,
Thank you very
yeah.
much.
All right, all right. Thank you, everyone.
Bye. See ya.
Bye.